Last year, more than 43,000 Americans over the age of 65 died from a single fall inside their own home. Most of them had just moved into a rental house they believed was safe. But the truth is, after the age of 70, the home you choose can either bring you peace or quietly take your life away. And the worst part of all, the warning signs were almost always right there in front of them. They just never learned how to see them. My name is Amos Yoder. I was born and raised in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, among the plain people you call the Amish. For most of my life, I have watched our elders grow old in peace inside homes that protect their bodies and bring rest to their souls. And I have also watched many of your good English neighbors, kind people, hardworking people, people who deserve better, move into rental houses after 70 that took everything from them. Their savings, their sleep, sometimes even their lives. I'm not here today to sell you anything. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to share with you something older and stronger than money, something the modern world has forgotten. The Amish people have 4 simple principles we follow when we choose where to live. Principles passed down by our grandfathers and their grandfathers before them. Principles built on scripture, on hard work, and on a lifetime of watching what truly keeps a man or a woman safe in their golden years. If you will give me the next few minutes of your time and listen with an open heart, I promise you this: you will never look at a rental house the same way again. And if you are about to sign a lease, or if you love someone over 70 who is renting today, what I am about to share with you may very well save their life. So let us begin with the first principle. The first Amish principle is this: a peaceful home must be simple. In our community, we have an old saying, the outside of a house reflects the inside of a soul. A home that is too large, too cluttered, too complicated, it does not bring peace. It steals it. After the age of 70, your body is no longer the body you had at 50. Your knees, your back, your eyes, they all begin to ask for mercy. And a complicated house shows no mercy. Now here is what the modern world will not tell you. When researchers studied senior falls in the United States, they discovered something surprising. 70% of all falls that send older adults to the hospital are not caused by stairs. They are not caused by ladders or wet floors. They are caused by simple slipping, tripping, and stumbling on flat ground in ordinary rooms. Only 9% come from stairs. The biggest danger is not the dramatic fall. It is the small, simple, everyday step. This is why the Amish believe in simplicity. A peaceful rental home for someone over 70 should be small enough to walk through without getting tired. It should have wide, clear pathways. The doorways should be at least 32 inches wide. If you ever need a walker, and most people do eventually, a normal 28-inch doorway will trap you in your own home. You will not be able to wheel through. You will not be able to bring a wheelchair through. You will be a prisoner in the very house you pay rent on. When you walk through a rental house for the first time, do not look at the granite countertops. Do not look at the fancy lights. Walk slowly from the front door to the bedroom, then from the bedroom to the bathroom, then from the bathroom to the kitchen. If any of those paths has more than 2 turns, more than 1 step up or down, or any rug, cord, or threshold sticking up from the floor, that is a warning. That is the house telling you, I will hurt you one day. Throw rugs are perhaps the most dangerous thing inside an American rental home for someone over 70. They look harmless, they feel cozy, but they slide. And on the day your foot catches the edge of one, your hip may break. And once a hip breaks at 70 or older, 1 in 4 people do not survive the year. That is not an Amish saying. That is a medical fact, written in the records of every hospital in this country. And then there are the stairs. If a rental has more than 4 steps to enter, or a bedroom only on the 2nd floor, you must ask yourself one question. Can I climb these stairs in 5 years with a cane in the middle of the night? If the answer is no, then this house is not your house. The Amish do not build homes that punish the old, neither should you rent one. So the first principle is simplicity. Choose a small, clear, honest house. The kind of house your grandmother would recognize. 1 floor, wide doorways, clean paths, no tricks, no traps, no surprises. Now let me tell you the second principle. And this one, most American seniors do not understand at all. The second Amish principle is this: a peaceful home is never an isolated home. In our Amish communities, when a man and a woman grow old, we do not send them away. We do not put them in a building far from their children. We build a small house right next to the main home. We call it the Großdaddy house, the grandfather house. It is close enough that the children can hear if grandfather calls. Close enough that grandmother can walk over and hold a grandchild. Close enough that nobody dies alone. This is not just tradition. Modern science has now proven what we have known for hundreds of years. A massive study published in 2025 looked at the records of millions of older adults across the world. They discovered something American culture does not want to face. For people over 70, social isolation increases your risk of dying from any cause by 35%. Living alone increases it by 21%. Even just feeling lonely increases your risk of death by 14%. Listen to me carefully. Researchers now say that loneliness in old age is as dangerous as smoking, as dangerous as obesity. It is not a feeling. It is a killer. So when you look at a rental house after 70, the most important question is not how much is the rent. The most important question is, who will know if something happens to me here? A beautiful house at the end of a long country road with no neighbors close by, no porch facing the street, no walking path to a store or a church. That house is a trap. A house in a quiet town on a street where neighbors say hello near a community center or a church, within walking distance of a shop or two. That house is medicine. When you go to view a rental home, walk outside. Stand on the front porch. Count how many neighbors you can see. Knock on a door if you must. Ask, how often do you see the person who lives here? If the answer is almost never, then run from that house. It does not matter how pretty it is. It will kill you slowly. And there is another truth nobody mentions. After fall, every minute matters. The medical world calls it the golden hour. For every single minute that passes before help arrives, the chance of death rises by 1%. If you fall and get help within the first hour, 90% of seniors continue to live independently afterward. But if you lie alone on the floor for 12 hours, only 10% will ever live independently again. 12 hours alone can take 20 years of independence from you. That is why community is not a luxury after 70. It is survival. And one more warning. There's a paradox in America that no one talks about. The closer your house is to a hospital, the more emergency room visits you will have. Researchers found that older adults who live closest to a hospital go to the emergency room far more often, not because they are sicker, but because the hospital is convenient. They end up in beds, with treatments, with bills they did not need. So do not chase a house near a hospital. Chase a house near good neighbors, a good clinic, and a good pharmacy. The second principle is community. A peaceful home is one where you are seen, where you are known, where, if you fell tonight, someone would notice by tomorrow. Now let me share the third principle, and this one will surprise you because it goes against everything modern real estate teaches you. The third Amish principle is this: function must always come before fashion. In our community, we do not build homes to impress. We build homes to serve. Every wall, every window, every door, every floor must have a purpose. If it does not serve the people who live there, it does not belong. But your English rental market is the opposite. It is full of houses that look beautiful and behave like prisons. Open floor plans with no walls to lean on, polished tile floors that become ice rinks when wet, modern bathrooms with deep tubs and no grab bars, dim ceiling lights that look stylish in a magazine but leave the hallway dark at midnight when an old man tries to find the bathroom. Here is what science has now confirmed. By the time you are 70, your eyes let in only 25% of the light they let in when you were 25. Think about that. You need 3 to 4 times more light at 70 than you needed at 30 just to see the same thing. And researchers found that simply increasing the light in a senior's home by 10 times reduces falls in that room by 35%. In some studies, by nearly half. So when you walk through a rental house, do not be polite. Turn on every light. Stand in the hallway. Stand on the stairs. Stand in the bathroom at night. Is it bright enough? Is it warm in color or harsh? Are there shadows on the floor? If the answer is dim, dark, or shadowy, the house is not safe. Not for you. Not at 70. Not at 80. And then there is the temperature. This is something most American seniors do not understand at all. The National Institute on Aging has found that even mildly cool homes, between 60 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit, can cause hypothermia in older adults. About 600 elderly Americans die each year from hypothermia inside their own homes. Most of them died because they tried to save money on the heating bill. They were not poor, they were not foolish. They simply did not know that a body over 70 cannot fight the cold the way it used to. So before you sign a lease, ask the landlord this: what is the average heating bill in winter? Ask to see the last 12 months of utility bills. If he refuses, walk away. If the windows are thin, if the doors have gaps, if the walls feel cold to the touch, that house will rob your wallet and your life every winter you live in it. Now let me tell you about the hidden poisons, the ones the landlord will not mention, because in most American states he is not required to. Radon gas. It is invisible. It has no smell. It seeps up through the basement floor of millions of American homes, and it is the second leading cause of lung cancer in the United States, after cigarettes. 21,000 Americans die from it every year. It is the number one cause of lung cancer in people who never smoked a day in their life. Most rentals have never been tested. You can buy a radon test kit at any hardware store for less than $20. Buy it. Place it in the lowest level of the home for several days. If the level is high, that house is not safe, no matter how pretty it looks. Mold. Mold can begin growing within 24 to 48 hours of a leak. A house that looks clean on the day you tour it may already be growing mold inside the walls. Look under sinks. Look at the bottom corners of windows. Look at the basement. Look at the ceiling above bathtubs. If you smell anything musty, damp, or earthy, believe your nose. Your nose is older and wiser than the landlord's smile. Carbon monoxide. It kills more than 200 Americans every year by accident. It causes headaches, dizziness, and flu-like symptoms that older people often blame on age. Make sure the rental has carbon monoxide detectors on every floor. If it does not, ask the landlord to install them before you sign. If he refuses, that is not a landlord you want. And one more thing about function. The bathroom is the most dangerous room in any American home for someone over 70. More falls happen there than in any other room. Before you sign a lease, check for grab bars near the toilet and inside the shower. Check that the floor is not slick tile. Check that the shower has a low step or no step at all. Check that there's enough light to see clearly at 3 in the morning. If the bathroom does not pass these tests, then the house does not pass. The third principle is function. Every room must serve you, your body, your eyes, your lungs, your wallet. Beauty without function is a beautiful lie. Now let me share the fourth and final principle. And this is the most important of them all. The fourth Amish principle is this: a peaceful home must give you rest for your soul. In our Bible, in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 16, the Lord says these words: "Stand at the crossroads and look. Ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls." This is the verse my grandfather taught me, and it is the verse I now teach to you. After 70, you are at a crossroads. You can choose the easy way, the fashionable way, the cheap way, and lose your peace, or you can choose the old godly way, the way that brings rest to your soul. A peaceful home is a quiet home, not just quiet from outside noise, though that matters greatly. Researchers have found that noise affects elderly bodies far more than younger bodies. In high-noise environments, older adults show significantly higher rates of depression. Noise raises blood pressure more in seniors than in any other age group. A house near a highway, near train tracks, near a busy hospital with sirens, near loud neighbors, that house will steal your sleep and slowly take your health. When you tour a rental, sit on the porch for 10 minutes. Sit inside the living room with the windows open. Sit in the bedroom. Close your eyes. Listen. Can you hear yourself breathe? Or do you hear engines, voices, machines? If your soul cannot rest in that room for 10 minutes, it will never rest there for 10 years. And here is something almost no senior in America knows. Studies show that nearly 30% of older adults are sleeping in bedrooms that are not completely quiet. And that lack of quiet is one of the strongest predictors of insomnia in old age. Insomnia leads to falls, to memory loss, to depression, to early death. A noisy bedroom is not a small problem. It is a slow poison. The bedroom should be placed away from the street, away from the kitchen, and at a thoughtful distance from the bathroom. Too far, and you will not reach it in the night. Too close, and the lights and sounds will disrupt your sleep. The Amish know this. The English have forgotten it. But peace is not only about sound, it is also about the words on paper, the lease itself. Many modern American leases now contain a clause that says the tenant must be able to live independently. This clause sounds harmless, but it is a trap designed for seniors. Landlords have used it to evict elderly tenants who needed a walker, who needed a caregiver to visit, who needed help bathing. This clause is, in most cases, against the Federal Fair Housing Act, but most seniors do not know that. They simply sign. And one day, when their body needs help, they receive an eviction notice. Before you sign any lease, read every line. Look for the words, independent, able-bodied, caregiver restriction, no overnight guests. If you see them, ask the landlord to remove them. If he refuses, walk away. A man who would put such a clause in a lease will never be a kind landlord to an elderly tenant. And then there is the security deposit. Some states limit how much a landlord can charge a senior. In Connecticut, for example, if you are 62 or older, the landlord can only charge you 1 month of rent as a deposit. Many landlords break this law because they know most seniors will never check. Know the law in your state, or ask a legal aid clinic. Most cities have one that helps seniors for free. And finally, ask yourself the most important question of all. Not, can I afford this house? Not, is this house pretty? But if I lived here for the next 10 years, would my soul find rest? Because that is what a home is for. Not to impress your friends, not to fill with things. A home is meant to be a quiet place where your body heals, where your mind grows calm, and where, on your final day, you can say with peace in your heart, I lived well, I was safe, I was loved. The fourth principle is rest. Choose the house that gives rest to your soul. My friends, these are the 4 principles: simplicity, community, function, rest. Carry them with you the next time you walk into a rental house. Ask them aloud as you stand in each room. Is this simple enough for my body? Will I be alone or seen here? Does every part of this house serve me or only impress me? And will my soul find rest within these walls? If the answer to all four is yes, then by God's grace you have found a peaceful home. If the answer to any one of them is no, then walk away. There are other houses. Your peace is worth more than your hurry. I am Amos Yoder, and I thank you for listening to an old, plain man from Pennsylvania. May the Lord guide your steps to a home where you will find rest, safety, and joy in the years he still gives you. If these words have touched your heart, share this video with someone you love who is over 70. It may save their life. And if you wish to hear more of the old Amish ways for living a peaceful life in your golden years, stay close. There is much more wisdom I would like to share with you. Until then, may God bless you. May he grant you a long and gentle evening of life. And may you choose your next home with the quiet wisdom of those who walked these paths long before us.